one of our favorite titles when it was announced last year, and now it continues to make headlines in the run-up to release. Here with what fans can expect from 33 Immortals, we have Thunder Lotus producer Nicolas Godin. Bienvenue à la Gamescom.
Ah,
Ça va?
merci, ça va très bien. Thank you very much. Gamescom is awesome. Your booth is awesome. It's very impressive.
And you actually were here last year with 33 Immortals on our Gamescom stage.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a year, it's been a minute. Could you give us a refresher on the ABCs?
I'll give you a little recap. So 33 Immortals is a co-op action roguelike game where you join the fight with 33 players with you, and then the goal is to fight masses of monsters and epic bosses, and all that in a raid, pick up and raid. It's how we call it, the pick up and raid vibe, where we want to give this raid accessible take for players, like low key, low effort. You just join in and you fight all together.
And Phil Spencer is a fan. We know that.
We are very happy to mention that Phil was our first community member since he played last year. But to be fair, he was really nice with us. He played with us. He was very. He's our fan. We love him, and it was a good moment with him last year.
And you got community testing now under your belt as well. So could you tell us more about the reactions?
Yes, it was interesting throughout the whole year. We had a closed alpha and a closed beta. For the closed beta, we were very surprised. We had around 47,000 players. We weren't expecting this at all, but we are very grateful and happy to have all these players joining in. And it was nice because we also had a survey in it, and we asked them, would you recommend that game? You know, this classic, would you recommend it? And we were very happy to hear that 94% of them would recommend it. So for us, it was clearly a big success.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And those community testings can be very revealing. So what did you learn about that for your game, and how does your team evolve things before release?
Yeah, indeed, we learned a lot. First of all, we confirmed that our core game mechanic is working very well. The fact of playing with 33 players as a big group in the world, at boss fight, it was a good success. People appreciated all the co-op mechanics. The boss fight, again, they were very appreciated. And also, it's something very TLG-like. It's that we know we have gorgeous art, like gorgeous animation, gorgeous art everywhere. It's really our tagline when you talk about Thunder Lotus, and we respect that and people appreciate that. It was very good. On the other end, we also had tons of feedback, and that was good because we needed feedback, obviously. And we know that we have to still work on the combat. The combat is such a big thing in our game. We want to make it more snappy. We're also going to work on some tutorials at the beginning to make it more clear for players. We want to work also again on some communication features we have in game. We'll pimp them up to make sure that people have all the tools to communicate with each other very easily. And the last of it is also all about the difficulty. We want to make sure that every player will be able to jump in and enjoy the game with the right difficulty level. Right now, it was a bit too difficult.
So yes, and especially raids can be very difficult. They can be very demanding, sometimes elite. And do you have a different approach on that in the game?
But you said it exactly. Raids in games, people will have the conception that you really have to dedicate yourself. You have to take time. You have to grind and make your character more powerful. Have a group that will show up at the same time. We want to take another vibe at this. We want to make sure that people can just open the console, go in our Darkwoods hub, equip a weapon, equip beautiful capes and ornaments, because that's important. And then just jump in, and the second you're in the world, you are with 32 other players and you play together. This is really our take on the pick up and raid, and we wanted to make sure that the game will be easy to access, but yet still be challenging. And this is our biggest challenge, I would say, because it's easy to make just a game that is very easy, but it still has to be fun, challenging to the player. So this is really our focus in the past few months, where we want to make sure that our game will be perfectly balanced for this, yet very accessible.
I love that. Accessibility is so important. But I remember you talked about the tutorials. Did anybody beat the tutorials, actually?
Funny moment. So we know that at our tutorials, we have this kind of torture chamber where you have to die. We want you to die to just stop this and go to
Go ahead.
yeah, it's like you can keep going. But someone was able to just survive the whole thing, and it was very impressive to see this. Some people are very dedicated, and props to these players because we love them a lot. But he did manage to die at some point, I guess, otherwise he wouldn't keep going in the game, but that's it. We have very dedicated players for this, and he made it.
I love that story. So he made the impossible possible.
Every players will always show us that everything is possible.
But you also got something new coming up, a new realm. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, exact. So in the beta, in the closed beta, we introduced a new world, which is about Purgatorio. So right now, just as a little reminder, when you join the game, you start in Inferno. This is where you'll play with 32 players. And then when you join Purgatorio, it's a smaller zone, so it's 22 players, and it's going to be it's going to be way much more rough. It's more challenging and demanding. In terms of the area, it looks very different. There's a lot of like ashes everywhere. It's clearly another mood. A lot of like monastery and like abandoned places everywhere. But the biggest thing about Purgatorio is the fact that the monsters are all different. In Inferno, we have a roster of monster with variation. In Purgatorio, we have a whole different monster-like roster. And what's cool with them is that we introduce more co-op mechanic between them. So we have monsters that are able to heal each other. So they can be a pain sometimes in some fights. They have some that can slow players down. They have some that can make other monsters invulnerable for a short time. So we wanted to challenge the player differently to make sure that they will use all the roles of the different weapons in an efficient way and just challenge them in a different way with the other world.
So a lot of diversity, a lot to explore and watch out for, definitely.
Yes, exact. And by the way, please note that they are support, but they will still hurt you because yes, it's
Good tip.
about dying again.
I see what the whole thing is about your game.
We're very sorry.
We talked about the beta moments ago. Will some of those insiders see evolution in the game?
Yes, and what's nice is that when you play a zone, you have access to a big boss fight at the end. Inferno was a Lucifer boss fight, which was very exciting. And for Purgatorio, we go with an Adam and Eve fight in the Garden of Eden. We weren't sure to push it out, but the goal was to have feedback on the gameplay. So when we put it out, it was very rough. It was all pink and placeholder with rough animations, and it was very fine with us because we wanted feedback on gameplay, which we did. And then right now we are working a lot to make sure that all the official assets for Adam and Eve will be like completely done, and we'll have tons of more info about the fight soon. But they're going to look great. Animation will be done. VFX will be done. It's going to be pretty nice.
I can really feel that your heart is beating for the community and the feedback. So if anybody else wants to join, how do we keep up with 33 Immortals?
Well, the team is very dedicated, so I just want to say a big props, camera.
Yes, please.
Like team, we love you. We are at Thunder Lotus. The team is like 20 people, and other people at the office always help with us. And really props to you, and props to all the players that help us with these different phases. We love you. Keep coming back. And if you want to keep contact with us and the game, first of all, join 33immortals.com. Follow us to have news on newsletter and the different phases that will come in. And also, we also started Xbox Insider playtest on this weekend. It's going to start right now. So for those who are on the Insider ring,
Perfect.
please join the fight and have fun with us.
Well, hopefully you can enjoy some more of Gamescom. Thank you so much
I
for
will.
coming, Nicolas.
Thank you very much.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Merci. Dankeschön.
De rien. Sign up at 33immortals.com to keep an eye out for 33 Immortals coming to Xbox Game Pass day and date. Coming up, we found out the latest from the Space Marine series. Then we've got 2 gameplay presentations you just gotta see. But first, it's the prequel to the fan favorite real-time tactics series Commandos.